Oh, okay. No, there we go. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome back to the Lore Lodge. We have added nothing.
Well, we've added a person.
Nothing new whatsoever in the room right now. Yeah, we have a friend.
We do.
This is
Hi.
Rachel. Rachel, do you want to explain why you're here to the people?
Yeah, so Aiden is currently holding me for ransom, actually. And it's no.
And
yeah.
demonetized.
And demonetized. No, I am I was invited on to discuss cults.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
Astute.
concise.
Yeah,
Thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd give you the opportunity.
Yeah, no, I mean, I studied psychology in college.
There we That's
There's
what I
a
was
little bit
looking
more.
for.
I'm not
What's
just-
the background
I'm
here?
a little bit of an armchair expert, but this is something that I really love and I love to talk about. So I'm sure I'll go on a lot of really fun tangents tonight.
I mean, considering I don't have a folklore degree and Aiden doesn't have a degree in looking pretty, the fact that we do it every week is just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And I mean, Archie is clearly the most educated person in the room right here.
Yeah,
Obviously.
he's the cherry on top of this entire Sunday operation.
He had a rough time getting his degree.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it's a dumb joke. Okay. There we go. I got it. It clicked.
Oh boy. But yeah, so for we haven't done a stream about cults in a little while, but I when I was looking through the Chan Thomas stuff that we did for the show a couple weeks ago, I was running into so many different like little doomsday cults and apocalyptic sects and people who believe this and the Maya and their doomsday prophecies and all that. And I finally decided, I was like, you know what? Let's finally do the video on the Illuminati. Because I have access to some pretty cool Masonic resources on the Illuminati, as well as just the ability to go on the internet and research. But it's one of those groups that I think is so broadly misrepresented in society. And I'm not going to go ahead and say the Illuminati were the good guys, but there was a real group of Illuminati, and they were very different from the current conspiracy that surrounds that term. So I thought, on the one hand, probably good to tell the history about that, then talk about what Illuminati means to people today, because it's obviously not the same. And then we can talk about cults just kind of in general, because there's a lot of stuff that if you look at the Illuminati, just the very obvious parallels between this and Jim Jones and Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate was one that, as I was sitting here reading through this, I was like, oh, this is a lot of really similar stuff. The fact that he was like, even down to the Heaven's Gate people broke people up into star clusters, they called them. I don't know if you remember that from when we did the video.
Yeah.
They did the same thing, where it was like, you don't communicate directly with the people in charge. You don't communicate even directly like with the person directly in charge of you. It's just a series of, you guys have this little group and you tell this person who has their little group and they tell this person, and it's all to just prevent anybody from developing any sense of loyalty to each other.
Absolutely. That cyclical communication is a huge factor in many, many cults. So
See,
It's
so this is
multi-level-
why I'm glad we have her, is because that was an actual term for something.
It's multi-level marketing without any money being earned.
Well, not by you.
yeah, no.
Listen, we've all done a little multi-level marketing in our lives.
Have we?
No.
This just me?
Yeah, that's all you, my
right.
guy. Okay. Yikes.
Listen, when somebody's like, hey, you want to sell knives? You sell some knives.
Oh no, chop. What is it called?
Cutco, yeah.
Cutco.
The alternative was working in a coffee shop all summer. I made more money and worked less hours selling knives to people.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah.
Oh my
I still have the knives.
Are they good?
Yeah, they're great.
Okay, maybe don't like encourage
phenomenal.
this. Don't.
They're very nice knives.
This is
They're
not
about to
sponsored. Like.
You're about to get another commission check in the mail in a month.
Oh my god.
I wish. I wish I was still getting those. Maybe if we get canceled, I'll just go back to. So what got you doing this at the age of 27?
Aren't you that like Wendigo guy? Yeah, do you want some knives?
It's very useful in the event of a Wendigo attack.
Yeah, not as useful as a blue snow shovel though.
Ah, true. We should start selling blue snow shovels.
That'd be good.
Why
merch.
aren't we?
We should get blue snow shovel tattoos.
Yeah, but I
Like
think...
the supernatural ones, like the demon wards.
Yes.
We just got blue snow shovels there instead.
Here's the problem. If we start selling blue snow shovels, we're officially getting into drop shipping, I think. So, like...
Would you guys buy
pretty
Lore
bad.
Lodge themed blue snow shovels? I guess is the question being asked right now. The mugs are blue. I didn't even think about that.
Neither
I did not
did I.
request that the mugs were blue.
They just knew.
They just knew. They just knew. And you know what? You know what goes really great in those mugs, Aiden? I like how it was actually closer to me. Mount Pocono Perk from the Lore Lodge and Tableau Roasting Company, which I designed myself. You guys know the whole spiel. I'm just reminding you that it exists because the stuff is delicious. You ever had this?
No, I'm
You want
allergic.
to smell it?
Yeah, I can smell it, but I'm allergic to coffee.
Oh, right. You mentioned that.
It smells great.
Just there's a little
Oh,
pushy bit.
wow. Oh my gosh, that smells
Right,
great.
like
I
you'd
love
have
that.
this as a candle, probably.
Oh, yeah,
right?
no,
Like,
100%.
we gotta figure out how to do
Yeah.
that. I would absolutely have a candle scented
I
like
was
this.
gonna say,
Is that like
What?
a...
I think you got candles from something.
I was working on it, but then I just kind of like stopped hearing back from the person. So
No, that would be an
That's-
amazing...
be
I
a
would buy
great
that candle.
candle, yeah.
I'd buy that candle,
good candle.
100%.
we should figure out how to do that. But anyway, yeah, we have coffee. Try it. I had some of it earlier. It's delicious. But, you know, maybe if the Illuminati had had some coffee, maybe they would have been less irritated about everything.
I think a lot of people would have been a lot less irritated.
I think also if they hadn't been under the influence of one of the most oppressive periods of Catholic rule, also would have helped.
That would have done it, maybe.
Well, that's what got them started.
Oh,
Yes, the Illuminati began not as an offshoot of Freemasonry, not as their own little secret society dedicated to overthrowing the world government, and that is what they wanted to do. But it started because the leader, Adam Weishaupt, was a Jesuit professor at a Jesuit university, and Pope Clement XIV banned Jesuits from existing. It was a whole thing. Every few hundred years, the Catholic Church gets really upset with some society or order or another and decides to either ban them or kill all of them. Like they did it to the Templars, then they did it to the Jesuits. Like it's just a thing they like to do.
I love that.
It's just,
I know. But yeah,
as someone who was raised Catholic, you just hear all these things and you go back and you look at everything. You're just like, well, I gotta carry that in my life, don't I?
Good job, buddy. But yeah, so the Catholic Church banned Jesuit teachings. Weishaupt was a professor. He was a professor of canon law. Like, so he was a professor of church law.
Oh.
He got kind of fed up with this, got fed up with the Catholic Church, got fed up with academia, and went, you know what? We need to get rid of all of this. So I'm going to start a little, society of my other law students, and we're going to find a way to, basically to what's the word I'm looking here? Undermine the Catholic Church and the governments of Europe. And we're going to create a new system based on rationality and reason, all of these Enlightenment ideas. And that was the whole plan for them.
It always starts with a good plan, right?
And you know what? Looking at it, like when their goals from the outset were oppose abusive government, oppose religious involvement in government, and oppose superstition. So from the outset, actually a pretty reasonable set of goals.
Absolutely.
Like that doesn't sound super different from the founding fathers over in the United
I was
States.
gonna say, sounds great. I'd love to be part of that.
It was basically
Yeah.
this, and I mean, time-wise, this is May 1st, 1776 that they're founded. So this is the same time as everything's going on over here, all of these arguments over government and religion and everything. But in the Americas, the Freemasons were kind of leading that debate to an extent. Or not as an organization, but the people leading the debate were Freemasons, Ben Franklin, George Washington, as well as another 13 other people who signed the Declaration of Independence. So over here, that was all kind of being led by that group. But in the United States, there was a lot less emphasis on the power of the Catholic Church. The king had a lot less power over here. So in Bavaria, where you've got a very hands-on government and a very hands-on church, there's a lot of irritation, a lot of distaste for government, for religion, for all of that. In places that have more of the English tradition of freedom, liberty, this kind of more limited constitutional monarchy, places that had already gone through this, they didn't need the radicalism that the Illuminati brought to the table in their ideology. They could just get by with actual classical liberalism. And that's, what happened. Eventually it did lead to war for the Americans, but that was, it wasn't because of their ideology that we went to war with Britain. We went to war with Britain because Britain wasn't giving us what we wanted.
In a way, ideology, but not necessarily.
It was a lot more economic.
Yeah, it was more obviously the whole taxation without representation, but more specifically along lines of
Well, that and then
suppression
the
of
fact that American traders could only trade with the British.
yeah,
Like there,
suppression of free
that we
trade,
couldn't actually
suppression-
produce our own finished goods, that we had to
Yeah.
send the raw materials to Britain and they would send them back and we have to buy them and then
Also,
pay taxes on them. And
religious freedom as well.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we had a lot more space between us and the powers that we felt were oppressing us.
Yeah.
For the Illuminati, they did not have that. The problem is the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and Weishaupt decided, you know what, we can't grow on our own. We need something else. So he goes and he infiltrates the Freemasons. Over in the Germanys, that's a lot easier. And I say the Germanys because at this time in history, Germany was not a country. It was a collection of minor states that had princes and dukes and electors and all these different titles who all fell within the authority of the Holy Roman Emperor, who was usually an Austrian guy. But they would vote on who it was. So it wasn't like it was just, hereditary. They would actually go and say, okay, we're deciding it's this person. Fun mechanic in a lot of medieval video games, by the way.
What?
The Holy Roman Emperor election thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't play a lot of
Yeah,
video games.
I was gonna say, how prominent is that
Yeah,
in
is that, like,
video
really-
games?
All right. Once again, I am the odd man out. Yeah. Anyway, they have trouble growing, so they infiltrate the Freemasons. They're still having trouble growing, and they recruit a guy, a Freemason with just the worst name.
Oh yeah. He who must not be named.
okay.
Genuinely cannot be named in
We
good
shouldn't even
content.
show it.
Well,
We should wait. For
It'll
the
it'll be
video
it'll be
to-
fine to show it.
okay.
When the stream disappears in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't know
this
about
is-
that.
I didn't set up.
Well,
for this.
it'll be fine.
I'm just-
I don't know why it does that. I don't know why it does that, but you guys can see the screen. You get the point. We can't say that.
Yep.
It's horrible.
Considering nobody heard it when I just said it, for those on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or
Oh,
everywhere
yeah.
else, look up a German writer that was born on the 16th of October.
If you just look up
1752.
founders of the Illuminati, this will come up.
Yeah. It's a three-part name. You'll know why we can't say it.
Yeah, we just,
Yeah.
like we were sitting here and I'm like, I have to rename this man for the sake of
Yep.
Yeah.
the
Homeboy.
video.
Really unfortunate.
Just not a good name to have.
Really.
Um,
I mean, he didn't know.
no, he
Yeah,
was
well,
German. He had
was
no
German.
idea.
No idea what was coming. Yeah.
Um,
no.
But yeah,
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
worst name possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still laughing about it. Yeah, they bring this guy in, and he does a very good job of recruiting, like a frighteningly good job of recruiting. Quadruples the number of members in this organization, and then he's having some problems. Which the problems are, Weishaupt didn't actually bother to do anything past going, all right, we're going to take the Freemason stuff, make it slightly different, and that's it. And so our friend here with the unfortunate name constructed some more degrees that were up higher and all that. They eventually, had to admit to some of the people who were higher up that all of this was made up. They had been presenting it as if it were some ancient order, and he was serving the most serene superiors, I think is the term that was used, or most serene masters, or like this shadowy group of other people somewhere else. Basically just hiding everything behind this veil that he was the intermediary, which I'm sure is common.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He leaves the order in 1784 because they just can't keep it together. Weishaupt is unbearable to deal with. The Freemasonry in Germany, because of a number of things that happened that we'll go into in greater depth in the Friday video, kind of collapses in on itself. There are a bunch of other federations that are made. The goal of the Illuminati had been to infiltrate Freemasonry from the inside, convert everybody already within it, and then use its connections to take down the governments and the church. When Freemasonry in Germany imploded, that kind of ruined their plans. So they could not get the influence they needed. And then eventually some people got sick of Weishaupt, revealed who he was. There was another guy who he was on a trip to Prussia, and he was in a carriage with a Frenchman, and he and the Frenchman got into an argument over a woman who was in the carriage, and the Frenchman ratted him out to the authorities.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's cold.
Yeah, well, as the French say,
Okay.
I honestly, I've never heard that actual language spoken with
No,
such epitomization of fluency before.
right? Yeah, I mean,
really, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
that's how the language goes. But yeah, so we come to a point here where the Illuminati end up going from being on this skyrocketing upward career where they're about to take over Freemasonry, they're about to actually achieve their dreams, only for Bavaria to ban all secret societies, including the Freemasons, including everyone else, because the Prince of Bavaria is just like, I'm not dealing with this anymore.
Nah, you know what? He had FOMO. He definitely was not invited to any secret societies. That is for sure why he did that.
He was definitely not, no.
No, that sucks.
Yeah.
Wow, bummer deal.
But yeah, so he bans all secret societies. It means that Weishaupt goes into exile. Unfortunately named guy, it just goes somewhere else because he's not in trouble.
I gotta say, banning secret societies seems like a bold gesture.
Seems a little ironic too.
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna say
kind of
it's
the
secret
point.
societies.
It's like, how are you gonna ban something that you are supposed to not know exists?
It's gonna make them
Banning
stronger.
things typically doesn't make them go away.
Just makes them more dangerous.
Yeah. It just creates black markets.
Yeah.
French derogatory.
Incredible.
Oh, my God.
First mistake, trusting the French. I love how we can just hate on France here openly.
That's great.
So,
I do love that you
place.
did that because despite the fact that you were making fun of the French, the innate Italian within you could not allow.
Significantly less Italian than I thought.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Our sponsor for this week's upcoming video is a
Genetic.
DNA and ancestry records type place. And I got some news. I am considerably less Italian and a lot more Jewish than I thought I was.
Welcome to the tribe.
Granted, any amount of Jewish was more Jewish than I thought I was.
Yeah.
You're also very Iberian, which was surprising.
Yeah,
That's really good.
Where did that come
And a
from?
lot less Celtic than anticipated. Weren't you more Jewish than Celtic?
No,
That would
Pretty
be
close though.
really funny.
more Middle
Right.
Eastern
Right.
than Celtic apparently.
Yeah.
Which
And very English.
stop.
Yeah,
You
that-
stop it right now.
really English. Yeah.
Part of me thinks that it can't be right. Because
They got it wrong. They
how am
switched
I
it up.
that English?
Yeah. You're gonna have to cross-reference.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take more tests.
Yeah.
I won't say specifically who it was yet, though. But yeah, so I forget where I was in the story. Right. The Illuminati are disbanded. The Freemasons in Bavaria are disbanded. Everybody, if you're not a registered, club, you're out. Bye. And then we don't hear anything about the Illuminati ever again until the 1960s.
I was about to start doing the Curb Your Enthusiasm
They
thing.
Yeah.
they pop up during the anti-Masonic movement from the 1820s to the 1850s. People will be like, "Oh, that's the Illuminati." What are the Illuminati? And they're like, "They're bad." Then everybody goes, "Ah." And that's basically how the anti-Masonic movement goes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
It was
Great summary.
not ideal.
So wait, the 60s you said?
The 1960s are when the
1960s.
Illuminati really crop
Right.
up again.
When was Beyonce born? I'm asking the question I think everyone in chat
1776.
wants to know. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
crossing bridges I didn't even know were built yet.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah. There are a few moments. It does crop up in the United States during the anti-Masonic movement. And then it also pops up in letters to George Washington in 1798, where somebody sends him a book that had been written over in, I think it was France, about the Illuminati, claiming they still existed, that they were behind the French Revolution. Which, granted, if you look at the French Revolution and the government it produced, and you look at Illuminati ideals, they match pretty well.
Which one?
The first one.
Ah.
But yeah, if you read the Declaration of the Rights of Man, and then you look at Illuminati beliefs,
Okay.
If there's anything,
they're very similar.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
If there's anything that the French are good at, it's revolting.
That's true.
Do you know that the official title of France is the 5th French Republic?
the 5th.
Yep.
Yeah.
Iconic. Wow.
They've had
I mean,
5.
I was in Les Mis,
Yeah.
so that's about the extent of like.
Which
French
one is that
revolt.
about?
Not even the first one.
The Students'
Really?
Rebellion in like the early 1800s, I think.
I've seen the movie.
I think it was the
I
one.
didn't-
Was it the one that displaced Napoleon?
Don't quote me.
Or was it the one that allowed, it was either the one that displaced Napoleon or the one that allowed Napoleon to rise.
Oh, maybe it was one that allowed. I feel like that would have been in the musical, and I don't.
Maybe.
There's
Yeah,
no
maybe
mention
not.
of Napoleon in the musical,
Which is weird.
which would be kind of cool.
It's like the only cool thing France ever did was Napoleon.
People like baguettes.
I was gonna say bread is brie cheese. Big brie girl. Big brie girl.
I'm a Gruyere guy. Gotta say.
Yeah, that's another good one. It's another good one.
Like some Colby Jack.
Okay,
Nice.
yeah, it checks out. that checks out.
Good cheese. Very good cheese. I actually love sharp cheddar though.
Nice.
Like a really sharp cheddar.
Like yeah.
What country does sourdough bread originate from, if any?
Are we gonna
Russia.
make guesses first before I Google this?
I think it's Russia.
That makes. I'm gonna say. I'm trying to think of another
Russian country?
kind of. Yeah, I'm gonna say Georgia, modern day Georgia.
Ancient Egypt.
No way.
Yeah, it's the oldest form of leavened bread and was used at least as early as ancient Egypt.
Croissants.
Wow. I didn't know the Egyptians made things. It's a joke.
Wow. Wow.
Come on, dude.
Whoa.
Literal Freemasonry, dude.
Yeah.
Tradition goes back that far.
It was such a shocking statement. I was like,
The who? Yeah. So anyway, crops up during these letters where George Washington is basically like, oh yeah, that ideology definitely made its way over here, but the Freemasons here aren't chilling with it. Like we're not vibing with that. Pops up again during the anti-Masonic movement, and the Masons are kind of like, really? Again?
Yeah.
We tried so hard and got so far.
but in the end,
Doesn't matter.
And then finally, in the 1960s, a few pranksters by the names of, I think, Greg Hill and something Thornley, not coming to mind right now.
Charles Manson.
No.
Wow.
We're getting there.
Apt. Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
A couple
apropos.
of them are writers for, well, one's a writer for Playboy.
Ah,
Oh,
He and a few of
whoa.
his friends,
we're getting all over the place.
that's how I found
okay.
out that Playboy has text in it. I've actually never seen a Playboy in person.
Neither have I, but I know they do interviews.
Apparently they have articles in them.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that for them.
And it's weird, like, I've heard stories of, like, oh yeah, like, there was this one, like, article that came out about this, like, big person or whatever, and it's, like, really revealing and, like, really, like, in-depth, like, you know, they're really open about some
They
stuff.
call
and
them
I was like,
giants, by the way.
yeah,
Big people.
yeah. I wouldn't know.
Oof.
Small. But yeah, and then they'll be like, yeah, no, they did this, like, really, like, in-depth interview. It's like, oh, like, where can I read it? Oh, it was a Playboy interview. Sorry? they
Pardon?
What?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so they wrote a series of letters to the editor in Playboy claiming all sorts of stuff about how the Illuminati still existed and that everyone from the Rothschilds, and it's Rothschild, that is the pronunciation of that word.
That's the German pronunciation. For everybody who doesn't understand what he's saying, he's talking about the Rothschilds.
Rothschild.
Okay.
The
The
ve-
people, the men, the people, the family.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
That works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys. So anyway, he said everybody from them to the Masons, the Rockefellers, everybody's involved in the Illuminati. All the 32-degree Masons, they're all Illuminati, and they're behind all of the assassinations and global cataclysms. Basically, if you take all of the stuff people were saying about the Jews and make it about Freemasons instead,
Wow.
it's, yeah,
Checks out.
that's basically what they were doing. Which I do wonder, had they, if that was the goal, was to just take the word Jew and replace it with Freemason and just see if it did the same thing. Either way, it did. And people started believing that the Freemasons were behind the assassination of Kennedy and, oh yeah, everything. Freemasons did all of it. And that the Illuminati were the Freemasons, that it was the same thing. And these guys were also the authors of a book called the Principia Discordia, which is a mock religious text where there are 5 commandments called the Pentabarf,
You're kidding me.
No, I am not kidding.
Wow.
It's the most obvious satire you've ever seen. It
has to be.
It's so clear reading it that it's not supposed to be taken seriously.
Right.
And people
yet-
people took it seriously. They were like, oh, well, these guys who wrote this clearly no, it's just a series of letters to the editor of Playboy that are just claiming all of this nonsense about the Illuminati that reignites the Illuminati conspiracy after all these years of it laying completely dormant.
Because of course the readers of Playboy would bring that back.
Oh yeah.
The great readers.
The fact that there's things to be read and that people read them in that magazine is still like shocking. And
Oh yeah. But that's how the Illuminati come back into the fold all these years later. And I did purposefully stay vague about all of this because I want you guys to watch the video that I put so much time into on Friday. But yeah, that's the basic story of the Illuminati, is that they start out as a group of people who are like, classical liberal ideas are good. And then within 10 years, it's let's take over the world from the inside.
We live in a society.
Really
Yeah.
do.
So, I mean, that's,
And that's really appropriate, and it's actually how a lot of the big cults get started. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
Oh yeah.
that's what we're going to get into is
Yeah.
kind of the, how does that storyline mirror with the other cults is kind of what I want to get into. Like how much of that, and I think what would be good is if you go through like some of the steps of like,
how it becomes
how a cult forms.
Sure.
Yeah,
I can.
because
Is that what you want me to start with?
if that's something you're okay with starting with.
Sure. So, I guess one classic way to observe this is through Jonestown and Jim Jones, the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend. It's something else. So he is operating in Indianapolis, Indiana, probably around the 50s is when he really gets his start. And he was a very charismatic dude. He was handsome. People liked him. They liked his very liberal ideologies in a time like 50s, 60s was so socially tumultuous.
So
like,
all of this currently sounds exactly like the Illuminati stuff.
oh, it's the exact same thing. So that's why I'm listening to this and I'm like, oh my God, it's Jonestown. I'm gonna have nothing to talk about. Yeah. So he studied Pentecostal and Methodist preachers. He liked the way they spoke. He loved the charisma of it all, and that's what you're gonna see over and over again. Are these charismatic men? These kind of keystones to this entire operation. And a lot of times you pull that keystone, the whole thing falls apart.
Right.
Although in some cases it doesn't. That's another story. So again, this was back in the 50s. So like this was like 1954, I think, is when
Great year.
yeah, it was when the Supreme Court ruled segregation as unconstitutional. So we're still like we are.
Right?
Yeah,
It was a genuinely great year.
it was a great year. Yeah, it was an awesome year. Really, really, again, social upheaval. We saw rises in feminism, sexual liberation, freedom of religion, like all this crazy stuff started popping up. Okay, environmentalism, big thing. Gay liberation, big thing.
Terrible year.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Right.
I'm kidding.
All right. Yeah. No, I will not tolerate any LGBT slander in this. Thank you.
I'm just kidding.
All right. So again, and he's in Indiana.
Yeah.
All right. It's a racist place. Let's be real. But he was super inclusive and he welcomed people of all colors into his church. He loved it. He was like super about it. Everyone kind of loved that. All the free thinkers were like, this guy, he's the bomb. Like, let's go. Let's vibe with him. So he figured he called this ministry, number one, he called it the People's Temple. All right. Because it was for the people. And again, people, they ate it up. They loved it. All right. They were all about it.
People's Temple, People's Republic.
But over time, as what we see in a lot of these cults is that as the leader starts to get more power, they really kind of go crazy with it. And it's already these narcissistic, big idealed individuals. All right. So like they're already pretty problematic to begin with, but nobody really knows that because they are so good at being this charismatic chameleon. Right. And, people started asking questions about Jonestown, and Jim Jones was starting to elicit some really controlling tactics on his members. For example,
Why was it called Jonestown?
Jonestown.
Yeah.
Well, Jonestown is the settlement itself in the French Guiana.
Got it.
So we're not even there yet.
Okay,
He hasn't
got
even
it.
left the United States yet. Okay. But what drew attention to him and why he went to the French Guiana in the first place was that he was starting to members of his cult who he considered to be overweight, he would have them wire their mouths shut and they would only drink smoothies. Oh yeah, no, this it was crazy. Like the control elicited onto the members of this cult started to just like escalate like nobody's business.
I feel like just morality just ceased to exist in the 1950s for a hot second.
Oh, yeah, it was a lot was going on back then. There was a lot of drugs.
I feel like it's got to be a lot of people came back from World War II and were basically like, I have no concept of what is normal anymore.
That, and also there was like this rising middle class, and a lot of kids like saw all this opportunity that was being given to them, and they were like, okay, I can have all these things, but what's the point of it all? And I want more. Like, what else can I have?
Yeah.
And they sought it out in these free thinking groups, and it was terrible because these free thinking groups took complete advantage of these naive, probably kids that were our age, you know?
So cults in the 50s were Discord today.
Yes, 100%. And that's what you see. You'll see like these cycles of like sexual liberation followed by like...
Stop. Don't even say it.
What?
Do we have a cult?
Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, so all this, so people start picking up on the fact that he's like wiring people's mouths shut. And that's not the only thing he's doing, obviously, but that was a big deciding factor. And he's like, you know what? I got to get out of everything. I got to cut these people off fully, which, by the way, I think that the only reason we're not seeing bigger cults today is because the advent of social media and our monkey brains being like loving on phones and the internet is because we're too attached to the outside world. And it's really hard to isolate people. And that's one of the biggest things you see in cults. So he's like, I got to get people out of America. Where do I go? Like, where is the best place I can take a group of about 1,000 people who love me, worship me?
That many people?
Oh, people love this man. Oh yeah.
Whoa.
He was charming. He was I'm just saying.
Rachel's sitting here like, I mean, hear me out.
I just scared Archie. I'm sorry, Archie.
If I didn't know all of what I know.
Well, yeah, if I didn't know what I knew. But that's the thing, like, it was people, like, you know, just susceptible, normal people that were getting, like, yanked into this. There was no, like, higher rate of mental illness in these cult members. Like, mental illness was not a risk factor. And that is the scariest part. Like, these people were normal.
We should get one of those posters that say you are not immune to propaganda.
Yeah.
Because that's true. It's what it is. So anyways, he's like, all right, where can I go? I know an undeveloped part of the jungle. Let's just take it. Let's move all these people into the jungle. And they did. They literally were they were in the middle of a jungle. Like, they were cutting through a thicket. Like, they were developing this land. It was pure, like, slave labor.
What country did you say it was?
French Guiana.
Remind me where that is again?
South America.
Got it.
Yeah. So
It's like northeast coast of South America.
Got it. So it's
Yeah.
up near, like, Venezuela and kind of stuff?
I was going to say, don't ask me to get any more specific than
Fair
that.
enough.
Because
I will not. I will refrain.
It's
No.
the part where it goes like that, like just beneath the Caribbean.
Gotcha. So near Venezuela.
I don't know where Venezuela is.
Okay.
South America.
Fair enough.
And it's a jungle.
Now I'm
so,
curious.
all right, so we're in the middle of the jungle. We're developing this stuff. And again, people loved him so much, they threw down everything for this man. They gave their lives, their livelihoods, all their money, they brought people in. Like, they did everything for this guy. All right, and they pick up and they move to this like compound in the middle of the French Guiana. And that is when Jonestown was born, because that is when we got like this switch over to this God complex. And it's ultimately that God complex that got everybody killed.
Can't really blame the guy. I mean, if you convinced 1,000 people to follow you to an undeveloped part of French Guiana, like, I also would have a God complex at that point.
Honestly, W Riz.
Yeah,
really, like this
greatest
man.
salesman of all time.
Yeah, talk about, what was it, Chop Cut?
Huh?
What was it? Cutco.
Cutco,
yeah.
You wish. You really do wish you could have the
Imagine how many
Jim
knives
Jones
you would have
Cutco
sold
if
with the
you
Jim Jones Riz.
Yeah,
Riztown.
Riztown. Oh no.
Sounds like the worst reality show.
Oh, it sounds so bad.
You know it exists somewhere. Somebody's developing it right now.
I hope not.
I hope
It's
so.
gonna be a Snapchat
Can we,
show
like,
for sure.
Can we copyright that now? Can you guys
Riztown?
like get on that? Okay.
Trevor, if you're
Copyrighted.
watching.
Bang. Yeah. But yeah, so Jim Jones did that, and eventually the United States government was like, hey, where did all those people go? And they kind of start to look into it, and they start getting reports of people that have escaped from this compound where Jim Jones is literally like just depriving people of everything because it's a compound in the middle of the rainforest. And this representative from the state of California scoots on down to French Guiana, pops up, he's like,
Why
surprise.
is California? Why is California always involved when there's a cult?
Also,
know.
I'm gonna make a
The
guess.
free thinkers are there.
It's fair. I'm gonna make a guess that the first government institution that realized something was wrong was the IRS.
Oh,
because they didn't
absolutely.
get any of the taxes.
God.
They
Oh,
definitely
boy.
were like, this is a lot of people from one spot who aren't paying taxes anymore. Like,
Yeah.
And then they go to find them, no one's there. And they're like, what happened?
Yeah, and he does. He pops down, and Jim Jones is like, oh, like he's down bad. He's down tremendous. Like he sees this man, and he's like, oh, it's all over, and he starts to panic because in comes this outside influence when he's built this really carefully orchestrated ideology of like, I am the sole provider. I am the keystone again of this entire operation.
It sounds precisely like Manson and Applewhite.
And Applewhite and all the other ones because that
and Weishaupt.
Yeah, and Weishaupt. Stop.
Literally insert name.
Yeah, insert name here. And so he did. He that is when he panicked and he literally did not know how to handle it other than killing everybody. So he initiated a mass suicide. They drank lime Flavorade, not Kool-Aid. Don't get it twisted. Don't drink the
If it had been Kool-Aid, they would have lived, clearly.
Yeah, obviously. It would have counteracted the cyanide.
That's
anyway.
why Kool-Aid was invented, was to be cyanide-proof.
Yeah, and they recorded, what's the craziest part about all of this is that Jim Jones was really falling into like a heavy amount of drug use, and he loved to record himself speaking these hours and hours long sermons, and he would just like play them back and just like listen to himself like talking. But anyway, so he recorded this he recorded the final sermon where everybody like unalives themselves on this audio, and it's available.
Did they know that that's what they were doing?
Yes, you can. Yeah, he talks about it. He talks about how they're like doing it for a greater good. You can hear like, and I mean, I'm talking. There were babies being born into this cult. Like people, like young and old, were like not choosing to do this. They think about 300 people. Only about 300 people took their lives willingly. The rest were actually all executed by some of Jim Jones. That's the worst part. Like you think it's going to be, you know, oh, they all were that under the influence, but no, there was enough reasonable doubt. And that's another reason why I think Jim Jones did what he did and killed all those people.
Have you seen the Netflix show Midnight Mass?
No, should I?
You'd find it very...
Is that the one where they talk about like hallucinogenics and stuff?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay.
No, it's I think you'd like it.
Okay, I bet. I love that.
It combines like vampires and cults.
Oh, love that.
Into one thing. So
what is this, a crossover episode? Sorry.
Well, I mean, there is a cross. Because Midnight Mass.
Fair. Is it over anything?
I mean, there's a cross. I guess if the cross is high up, then it is over the episodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We really just tanked that segment. Anyway, moving forward.
No, but yeah, so that's
what happened to Jim himself?
He died. He shot himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He didn't drink his
Mans went down with his own shit. Why would he ever drink his the followers?
Why would you willingly drink Flavorade?
Yeah, but why didn't he? I'm surprised he didn't drink it like with them, kind of vibe.
And that's fair because that was what he would have wanted you to think he was going to do, but it waited until everyone else was like, and then he shot himself because he believed himself as higher up. It was truly the last like God complex FU he could have done. You know what I mean?
It was narcissism.
Oh, all of these men are narcissists, like textbook narcissists. And what you see in a lot of these cults are examples of like really toxic, like it screams toxic boyfriend behavior, like toxic partner behavior. It's all there. There's something I'm going to talk about probably if we have time called the bite model. Okay. So, and that's 4 types of like control that you can have and turn into like you can make anything into an authoritarian relationship if you come at it from these. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, really hard. Bite them really hard. Anyway, so that refers to behavioral control, informational control, thought control, and emotional control. In a lot of like authoritarian regimes, like China, for example, you'll see a lot of like informational control, and it's really straightforward, all of it. But you'll see your classic stuff here, like love bombing. You know, when somebody just like throws a lot of affection at you, makes you feel really, really special, and then takes it all away. And it like starves you of that dopamine and that need, and you just keep coming back for more and more. And these cult leaders, like they know this, like they're born ready to enact these things and absolutely manipulate you for everything you have. There is no like it is, and that's the thing. A lot of times they can start as people who want this good, but they have that something that just when they get that power, it completely perverts whatever they were trying to do. It's really fascinating. I wish we could do brain scans on Jim Jones because that would be kind of dope. But
I get the feeling his brain wasn't exactly scannable.
no, not by the end. No.
Probably.
No, not the end. But yeah, so you target the insecure, you control every part of their lives, like down to their diets. There was actually a cult that was like really big about controlling diets. And they were kind of famous for it. And they made like they opened a restaurant in LA. And the guy who like owned the restaurant had 14 wives, okay? But he apparently made like a bomb salad dressing. Everyone who talked about the salad, I'm not even kidding. Celebrities went to this restaurant all the time and they were like, it was called The Source. And it was this amazing salad dressing. I wish I was making this up in the 70s. Anyway, so
it was the 70s. There had to be like something being sold in the back room.
no, his name was Father Yod. He was a nutritionist, board certified actually. And he was the leader of a cult. He was he created a lot of eating trends that we see today. Like his diet fads are still in practice.
Like what?
I don't know. Apparently there's one diet. It's the eggplant, filbert nut, tomato, and alfalfa sprout diet.
I think if I had to survive off of just those things, I would rather just die.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point. But at this, I mean, again, the man had 14 wives. Like,
Yeah, that's the other thing is like I feel like if you're the first through like fifth wife coming into this, maybe you're like, all right, this is a little unusual, but I can make this work. I feel like by wife number 12 or 13, I'd be asking questions if I were one of the new ones.
That's the point. You got to think about how intensive this man's control must have been that they weren't. They were just like, yay, amazing, this is great.
Also, to be fair, the vast
A
majority
lot
of
of women to
cult
keep
leaders.
happy.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, to be fair, a cult leader's not trying to keep anybody happy but themselves.
True.
Yeah.
But also, they attract and seek out people who are more vulnerable than the average person and more willing to, kind of
True.
be in situations like that.
Yeah.
Which is a sad but unfortunate truth.
It's people who are in high stress times of high change. My sister, for example.
Are you telling me there are low stress times?
my therapist told me that apparently there are. I don't believe her yet, but I guess we'll find out. My sister.
When was the last one?
I know. My sister got to the temple, and she was just out walking one day and got handed this pamphlet. Like, a cult was trying to literally recruit her as she was walking in between classes because they see college kids as kids that are under really high stress.
Yeah.
They are susceptible to changes. They have really, really big ideas. Nobody's listening to them. They feel a little alone. Feel like you're isolated from your family for the first time. It is like prime pickings for these cult leaders. They just
Also, probably not even the most dangerous thing to happen to her at temple that day.
no, yeah, you're not wrong.
Sadly,
It's probably pretty low on the list. I went through, people trying to indoctrinate me into what wasn't quite a cult, but was certainly something I didn't want to be involved in college. With the, there was a bunch of neo-Nazis that kept trying to recruit freshmen.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
read
then
a paper on that.
And then you beat the shit out of them.
As you should have, gladly. But yeah, they have a whole list they've developed, like finding it's people who are dependent on other people. They're not assertive. They're gullible. They have a low tolerance for uncertainty. Like they have
I feel that one.
with black and white thinkers. Yeah. Disillusionment with the
like
status
uncertainty.
quo. Like hate everything about the world that we live in, which is like who doesn't
It's
anymore.
just describing everyone who has like more than one account online.
I know, it's really bad. Like, again, anyone could, and we're going to get into that in a second. Naive idealism, a belief that everyone's like really good and everything's great, and a desire for spiritual meeting, just like needing something more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and to go off of that, like I said, I was talking earlier about how.
Stop joining cults, become a Freemason. God.
Exactly.
It's all right here. Like,
Okay.
we do all those things.
I was gonna say, I mean, this is not for the women in the crowd, obviously, but yeah.
We have a thing for you guys.
What is it?
It's Order of the Eastern Star.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Wait, that sounds pretty. I like that. Yeah.
It's just kind of like if you're the daughter or wife of a Freemason, you can do it.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Very nice, very nice. Love that for us, I guess. But yeah, so cult leaders nowadays are gonna have a harder time just because we're all so attached to the internet and our ideologies. I personally I go on TikTok for more than like 20 minutes and like I have like I have a crisis. Like it's hard for me to be on the internet sometimes. But there are people who are online who are manipulating the way that we think. They are gaining followers, they are gaining tractions, and their toxic ideologies are taking over.
I fully think that Mom Millennial could have formed a cult if she wanted to.
Is that the one who was like attacking you?
Yeah.
Claiming that Rome wasn't real.
Joke's on you, Donna. I'm Jewish now, too.
Oh,
I know you're saying now, as if it just occurred.
Yeah.
For me, it did.
That's fair. That's a good point.
I mean, bet. So there is someone I really want to like put out there to your followers.
Sure.
And her name is Teal Swan. That is her legal name. I swear to God, she was named Teal, and you're Googling.
Yep.
Yeah. She's very pretty. And that's part of her appeal, I think. But so specifically, I'm
Did
gonna
you say it's part for a teal?
so funny. Teal Swan was covered on the Someplace Underneath podcast, which is an excellent podcast about the less dead and finding murdered and missing women. Great people, highly recommend it. But they covered her on this podcast because she is really popular in festival circles, like super popular because.
Like Coachella?
Yeah,
Okay.
like the people who go to those festivals, who I kind of like fell into a crowd of those people very recently, and I've started to notice like a few of them have like reposted her stuff without knowing who she is. And who she is not a good person.
Oh.
She is someone who highly promotes these ideologies of like Buddhism and Hinduism that a lot of cults are based off of, like this more
Yeah,
like
that
Eastern
new age spirituality.
Yeah, like an Eastern ideology. But she's, again, taking it, and as she's getting more and more control, she's starting to use it towards her own advantage and starting to pull some really, really big power cards, which are, example, the biggest one, encouraging people to unalive themselves because it's
You're not supposed to do that.
No, it's a
You shouldn't do that for a lot of reasons.
but apparently she calls it a restart button.
Listen,
Yeah.
I don't like when people speak for Jesus as a Christian, so I don't want to speak for Siddhartha Gautama, but I don't think that's what he had in mind.
No,
Yeah,
not
when I
this
hear
one.
that, it just sounds like someone who's chronically online and forgets that respawns are only a thing on computer games.
Yeah.
Even if you believe in reincarnation in the Buddhist sense,
That's not how it works.
It's absolutely not how it works. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like-
you're telling me you're preaching to the choir right
Yeah.
now. It's one of the most, and I see this, and I will reach out to these people who post it. I'm like, hey, this is who this woman actually is. Like, you should educate your, like, I'm not trying to police what you post, obviously, because that's not the point of the internet. But like, I want to let you know, like, I know you as a person, and I know you would not support something like this. So I'm just trying to inform you. This woman is a bad mamma jamma. Like,
It's
don't.
kind of like an Andrew Tate situation where every once in a while they'll have a clip of them saying something poignant, but then the rest of what they think is awful.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where they talked about it on the podcast, and it was so like when she speaks, it's this again cyclical content where it's just nothing of substance is being said. It's just like buzzwords and like feel good statements, but like there's nothing of substance in what she like. It's mind numbing, and it's this anti-thought. It's called anti-thinking or like thinking stopping thinking way of phrasing things that a lot of cults use. And she employs those tactics to get people to follow her because they feel like they're being super, I don't know, philosophical, for lack of a better word.
It just sounds like newspeak.
It's kind of, yeah, pretty much. And yeah, so she's really dangerous. Highly recommend we avoid her. Just wanted to throw that out there. Be careful about what you consume, kids.
I mean, I can go be mean to her on TikTok.
You should.
Don't be, you gotta get more information first because her followers are crazy. Like,
Repost responsibly.
Crazy followers. I've never dealt with that from anybody with weird hair from Ohio who now lives in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Stop.
doxing?
Not doxing.
Okay. I don't know.
She tried to dox Milo, so it'd be fair if I did, but
That's fair. All right, that's super fair. But yeah.
she's not a good person.
No.
My favorite was her claiming that she was a First Temple Jew. Like she practiced First Temple Judaism.
Okay.
And I was just like, how?
Yeah.
How are you doing that, buddy?
My friend. Okay, yeah. She sounds like something else.
Yeah. And she also so you I'm sure you know why there are Jews outside of Israel.
I have a few reasons.
It's one of the big ones is that the Romans exiled them
Yeah.
and destroyed the temple and
Yeah,
all
okay,
that.
cool, classic. I didn't know if this was like a pop quiz.
Yeah,
or
no,
something, but, like,
that's where I was
think
going with
know.
it.
Yeah.
She does not believe Rome existed. She thinks the Roman Empire didn't exist,
That's a hot take.
and she claims that.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's a hot take.
That's a
And
really
she
hot take.
claims that the Second Temple was not destroyed by the Romans, but a Jewish civil war.
Interesting theory. I don't know if there's a basis for it. That's
None.
an interesting one.
I was waiting for
Okay.
you to say source.
Yeah, I would love a source. I love that.
Yeah, her
Apparently,
argument.
a
about-
lot of people loved the source, and that was a problem.
Her argument about Rome not
Yeah.
existing is essentially that it was a melting pot of different societies and cultures, so therefore it wasn't real. That would basically be like saying the United States of
doesn't
America
exist.
doesn't exist because it's a melting pot of different cultures.
Yeah.
So it was
And-
really
And
kind of
she
weird.
had, even if you did what I did, which was literally just point for point, prove her wrong.
Yeah.
At first, I wasn't even mean about it. She's like, this is incorrect.
You can't reason with people like that.
Her followers just like, I was immediately the worst person alive.
Yeah, because well, you're attacking their ideology. And if you go for someone's ideology, you're going for their
Yep.
nads, and that's not something you can do anymore. It's real. It sucks.
That's where history and like anthropology and archaeology shouldn't be based in ideology.
Yeah.
I
it's
agree.
like,
Yeah. So
what
I.
happened is the goal here.
Yes.
Not,
Yeah,
do we
not-
like what happened?
Facts, not truth. Listen to
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I was gonna say, was there anything else specific you want to talk about before we go to questions?
Yeah, no, I think I covered the big chunks, like definitely the bite. You guys, again, if you feel like you or a loved one is in a situation that could be considered an authoritarian relationship and a toxic relationship, Google the bite model.
Do you want to go a little more in depth into it, like real quick, just for people who may want to know, like now, like what kind of those four are a little
Yeah,
more
so-
like concretely?
So, okay, so everyone, I mean, we're all online. We all probably have a rough idea of what a toxic relationship looks like. And I think if something feels wrong in your gut, again, I studied neuroscience and psychology in college. I'm a woman of science through and through. Your gut instinct is there for a reason. If something feels wrong, then something might be wrong, and I see no issue in exploring options regarding this person that you love, or maybe even yourself. But what you're going to want to look for, again, the bite model is behavioral control, informational control, thought control, or emotional control. And behavioral control can be anything from financial exploitation to physical abuse to like threatening people to just basically any way that you can regulate someone's physical reality, just regulate what they do, what they say. That's behavioral control. Information control, it's propaganda, essentially like limiting intake on any kind of information, cutting them off from the outside world. That's a huge tactic of abusers, and a big thing we see in these cults. Thought control, good versus evil, like you dictate that if you are the abuser. You manipulate memories, you don't allow them to think for themselves. You actually, weirdly enough, a big part of thought control is chanting, meditating, praying, speaking in tongues, singing or humming, essentially anything you are doing that keeps the person from thinking, having any kind of rational thought, forbidding any kinds of questionings. Oh yeah, no, it gets crazy.
Like I say, if anybody was started speaking in tongues to me, whether it was family, friends, whatever, being like, I will see you later.
Yeah, just so essentially just
It's not what speaking in tongues is.
I know,
It's
I
not
know.
what it means.
I know but essentially it's just limiting control of any kind of thought, any kind of independent thinking. That's thought control. Emotional control is exactly what it sounds like. It's you don't get to feel that way. And I will dictate any way that you're feeling. So making you feel guilty, questioning the way that you look, classic signs of emotional abuse like gaslighting. Again, that love bombing is really key there, like giving you all this love, making you feel like you are on top of the world, and then taking it away and you don't know when you're going to get it back. That's not what love is. You feel safe in love, supposedly. So my therapist tells me. But I digress.
What is this love you speak of?
Yeah, right. But yeah, so just anything where you feel like someone in your life might be going through this, if they're having their finances controlled by a partner, by an organization, they're having their movements controlled, if they're not speaking to you as much, where you feel like you are being taken away from this individual due to the relationship they are in, whether it is with an organization or with an individual, I highly recommend you look into something called Freedom of Mind. It's a resource center. It's absolutely science-based. They have links to RAIN and just like tons of different hotlines and support groups. Just care about the people that you're with and know that these organizations are still around and they are exploitative and they take advantage of you.
What's RAIN?
RAIN is it's an abuse hotline, essentially. It's an abuse like resource network.
Yeah.
That's my soapbox.
Nice.
Yeah.
Glad you were able to get on it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. A lot of that sounded like what the government does, but
yeah.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, a lot of this sounds like the IRS.
Yeah, right. No, it's a.
I'm in a toxic relationship with the authorities that control my finances.
I'm in a toxic relationship with vice president.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of it reflected in a lot of different. Like that's the best part is that looking at this list when I was looking at it when I started doing research for coming on here, I was like, oh my, like it's really bad. Like this list is. I'm talking probably I'd say upwards of 50 or 60 different bullet points of like ways that people can control you. And you will see like every relationship in your life in this list. So like use your best judgment, but like you know what's going on. All right. You're smart. Figure it out. Do some Googling.
If anyone says you can't feel something or you're not allowed to do that or I'm not going to let you do that, you should just be like, okay, see ya. Pretty simple. I mean, obviously there's more than that. But
as Aiden just said, commit tax fraud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes people a lot to leave these relationships. Don't get me wrong. Don't undermine them. It takes it's something like 7 attempts to leave an abusive relationship, usually, statistically.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know it's very tough, and they're often very complicated. I've known people who have been in them. I've seen the messy side of that. But, like, if you start to notice some of these red flags, do everything you can to get out as soon as you can.
Yeah. Most people leave relationships with me in 1 attempt.
Well, you know you're not abusive.
I was going to say,
I love that for you.
Silver lining.
Oh,
there is a positive.
Love that for you, King. That's King. Love that. Yeah.
But with that, and we should probably go to Super Chat.
And if you have questions, comments, or thoughts, type them into the chat box below and let us know.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah.
For anybody who hasn't been here before, the way we do question time is we take Super Chats first, and then if there's time at the end, it's a 30-minute segment. If there's time at the end, we will take other questions that pop up.
Yes.
As we see them.
For now, we do have some Super Chats that have come in thus far. Really quickly, before we dive into Super Chats, do we want to discuss Chris Tompkins or any of those elements just real quick?
I was thinking there would be a way that they might work into this episode that we could talk about them, but not really.
Fair.
Because, I mean, unfortunately, no, unless Brandon Swanson was abducted by some sort of cult member. But
who's Chris Tompkins?
Chris Tompkins and Brandon Swanson are two of the more recent missing 411 cases we talked about. Chris,
yeah, we haven't gotten a chance to talk about them on the live.
Yeah, so. I realized we probably should have done that at some point. But yeah, I mean, no, we should have planned a show to talk about them. But yeah, I mean, with Chris and Brandon, those ones are weird because we did talk about Brandon on the live.
Brandon a little bit, yeah.
We didn't talk about Chris as much. No, Chris. I didn't even consider a cult aspect to it, but that actually would be one thing that kind of makes sense as to why he disappeared. He basically was working on a surveying crew out in rural Georgia, and nobody knows exactly what happened because the only thing we have to go on is his coworkers' words. But they claim that he just kind of disappeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, and
that doesn't make any sense because they found his boots. And one of his boots was like
several miles
away from the other boot.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it's also it's weird. I just did all these shorts the other day, so it's pretty fresh in my mind. But he left his house early that morning. He was living with his mother and the rest of his family. He was young, early 20s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he went on this surveying trip with the rest of the people he works with.
Okay.
And the only thing they said was, yeah, he was acting a little weird that morning. And then they're walking down this path, and he's like 50 feet away from the nearest person. And all of a sudden, one guy looks back, and he's not there. Oh. And for some reason, the boss on the crew called his wife and said that Chris was missing. But nobody called Chris's family for like several hours.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Good.
And so supposedly his coworkers searched for several hours, couldn't find anything. And then Chris's family came out and pretty quickly found one of his boots, some change, piece of blue fiber and a barbed wire fence, which
that matched his
pants.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And so it's been a little bit weird about what exactly was going on between the coworkers and him, about their stories being a little bit sus. And what was it? It was because the second boot was found much later, right?
Yeah, it was a while later.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it was not like the same day.
Oh, so it isn't just mad sauce. Everything it's screaming at me. Something's like really wrong.
Yeah. It's a very weird story, but I didn't really consider that there was the possibility of cult involvement, but that would actually be one of the things that would make sense, because that would provide you the resources to get rid of someone that quick.
I was gonna say disposing of a body like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe I should have considered that. I mean, consider cults more often nowadays.
I mean, you might as well. God, at this point. Yeah. Alrighty.
Wonderful. All right, first super chat we got is from ya boy Bussy for $1.99 saying, "Oh yeah, it's the Bussy Boys back at it again."
Nice.
The Bussy Boys?
Yep, apparently that's a new title.
Oh, good God.
That's a new thing.
That's a fun one, guys.
I don't know that I like that one.
Yep. Kellen, the official data for $6.90. Kellen, I love it. Thank you. I will buy a blue snow shovel even living in South Georgia for when I move back to Washington. Nice.
You need it.
Where?
It's about the weapon aspect of the blue snow shovel.
Yes, it's what protects you from the Wendigo. Agamemnon's gym bag for $5.07. AGB, again, I love it. Love to see it. Thank you. As a Wisconsin resident, I'd be happy to serve as your advisor to find a decent blue snow shovel. We may take you up on that. Appreciate it. Kellen, the official data for $6.90. Love it again. Remember when we went to war for 2% tax, the 22.6% now?
Yep.
Careful. You might start something. Richard Henderson for $1.99 said, French, derogatory.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Richard Henderson again for $4.99 said, I heard there's something called Eiffel Tower sickness, where tourists are so underwhelmed by France, it makes them physically sick.
Is that
specifically Japanese tourists?
Is that a real thing?
Yes, because they see France represented, in Paris specifically, represented in anime, and then they go and they expect it to be like literally amazing, and then they actually become depressed and kind of it's crazy.
That's so sad.
And they see it with other places too, not just France. So there you go.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, France. That is the worst thing any other foreign country has ever done to Japanese people.
Joke implied. Plaz for $5 says, they don't tell you this, but the Masons are free. You can just pick them up and take them home.
Nice.
We might fight a little bit.
What?
We might fight a little bit.
You and Plaz?
No, the Masons.
Oh,
Got
it.
I mean, if you buy us dinner first, maybe.
K Android did a first super chat. No questions or anything, but thank you for your first super chat.
Thank you.
Agamemnon's gym bag for $5 said, how does Bohemian Grove and Alex Jones fit into all this?
It doesn't, except for the statue part. The owl, the Minerva's owl thing.
Yeah.
That is one thing that actually does connect between the two. And I have not had a chance to research deeply on Bohemian Grove yet. But I would not be shocked if I found some sort of connection with the Illuminati in there.
Oh, I'll be listening to that big time. Bohemian Grove is very interesting.
It is.
Yes.
Norberto Rodriguez Jr. for $2 says, cults equals beware false prophets line.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Richard Henderson for $1.99 says, California just needs to disappear.
Apparently it's supposed to do that.
When?
I don't know. There's going to be a big earthquake.
Could it maybe speed up?
Oh, I thought you meant that they were, seceding.
Oh, no. It's going to fall into the ocean.
Fair.
Yeah.
The San Andreas really about to say, wakey, wakey.
Yeah.
Where are we going to get our avocados now?
I don't know. Probably from Mexico, where we get most of them now anyway.
Yeah, true.
Richard Henderson for 199 said, he really said, vibes are off, we gotta go.
Yes.
Referring to Jim Jones.
Oh yeah, no, he was like bet, and then he dipped. Yeah, yeah.
Isaac Otto for 99 said, hello everyone, do you have plans for a 200,000 subscriber special? Sorry if you mentioned it at the beginning, I had to jump in late.
It sounds, I did not, but it sounds like people want us to, so maybe we should make plans for that,
Probably
considering it's going to be
should.
like next week.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
We're what, 197 almost?
We're already at 197.
Oh, boy.
We're almost at
That's
198.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, the scary part is we celebrated 100K in December.
Yep.
Like at
That's
the end
awesome.
of December.
I love that for you guys. That's
And we
awesome.
started
Congrats.
nearly 2 years ago now. So it took 18 months to hit 100 and 4 more months to hit 200. It's been a wild ride.
We do love exponential growth.
It is great, is it not?
Yeah.
Killing the official data for $3.69 says, the Source family cult also made awesome music.
Okay, I want to go bump those tunes right now. Hold on. I'm YouTubing it right now. Let's see if I can find anything. Keep reading though. 'Cause-
Cakes for $4.99 said, here's some money for the Mr. Peanut Butter reference.
What? Did I make a reference?
Did one of us make a Mr. Peanut Butter
I don't know.
reference?
I'm allergic to peanut butter, so I didn't.
Yes.
Oh.
We did. Thanks for the donation.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Wow.
Norberto Rodriguez Jr. for $2 said, any thought on what happened at Waco with
I was told specifically to maybe not bring Waco up. So
I did not say don't bring Waco up. I said bringing Waco up might send the audience into an anti-government frenzy.
I
Know your audience. We know ours.
I mean, as I, you know, my feelings are on the government are my feelings on the government. And Waco was Waco, and it was people died.
Yeah, I feel like
That was the most factual
there were a
statement.
lot. There were a lot of opportunities to arrest David Koresh, and they
Yes.
chose to burn down the compound instead. And my favorite part is that every year the ATF still tweets like a memorial message about the 4 agents that died, and every
Right.
year,
Great.
every single reply is just like the most vile, hateful things you ever seen anybody say about anyone. But it's the ATF, so okay.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as cults go, though, Waco, I mean, from what I understand, was pretty much the same blueprint as everything else.
Oh yeah,
just-
the Branch Davidians who were at Waco. That's David Koresh ran the Branch Davidians. They were a cult, just the same as anybody else. And you know, cults, the ones that we talk about here. Look, if they're coming up here, they're probably not great. Let's just
Yeah.
throw that out there. Not great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And all the, illegal weapons that he turned out to not have.
yeah.
That was pretty bad.
That was also not great. Oh, a cult leader making false promises? No way. That's crazy.
Anytime I hear the phrase cult leader, I can't help but think of the audio. Do you want to become a cult leader? Since the death of God, there's been a vacancy that could use
forgot
your
about
help in a
that.
position.
I've never heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It
we're,
was
on,
the-
we're on different TikToks.
Yeah.
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 I'm on like Frog and like Capybara TikTok.
I'm on like stoicism and cars.
I'm on redacted top.
Killing the official data for $4.99 says, you are not in an abusive relationship with the government. Fed.
I mean, literally, Kellen is a Fed.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm calling him out for what he is.
He's our friendly neighborhood Fed.
Who's
Yes.
Kellen?
He's one of our viewers. He's been here a while.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Hey, Kellen.
Yeah.
He's
He's getting out soon, though.
I know. Congrats, my friend.
His retirement was approved.
Oh, congrats. That's amazing. Good for you.
That's right. We pay attention to the lives of our followers.
Yeah.
Your boy Bussy for $1.99 said, is there science of a gut feeling? Really curious.
Yeah, there is. It's actually my favorite branch of psychology, evolutionary psychology. And it has to do a lot with, I don't know, following your baser instincts, essentially. So, a gut instinct is actually probably just like a triggering of the amygdala, which is like right there. Okay. So the way your brain develops, it develops in sections and it grows out like this. Okay. And right at the middle is where all of your core base instincts are. It's your literal lizard monkey brain. Okay. Like that's not a joke. When people say lizard brain, like it is quite literally just the center of your brain. It is rage. It is hunger. It is fear. It is all of those things. And it is a circuit. It's a really quick moving thing. It is instinct.
So what you're saying is we're all Sith.
I don't know Star Wars.
I mean, well, that's the
Rage,
thing.
anger,
Yeah.
hatred,
but also,
This gets into a topic of ethics and morality and everything like that, because that depends on whether you believe people are what their instincts are versus what their choices are.
exactly. And I'm just coming from the neuroscience side of things.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that in the middle, there's some stuff goes on. It goes on really fast, and some people can control this stuff better than others. And that's when you have frontal lobe processing come in, all the like outer, higher level thinking, whatever. But your gut instinct is when that little inside part is firing because it sees something that back in the day you would have needed to notice to survive, essentially. So like you see a tube on the ground and you're like, could be a snake. Like you get that gut instinct, like that could be dangerous. And it's like, oh, because back in the day we would have had to worry about snakes. Now we don't have to so much anymore. So we get a lot of overactive, like amygdala reactivity, all that fun stuff. And that's where anxiety is born. But that's for another video.
That's where the uncanny valley comes in.
100%.
You look at something and you're like, that's not human. And your brain's like, yeah, it resembles the weird thing that our ancestors saw in the dark tracking us thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
So the amygdala is responsible for adrenaline release?
Like kind of, yeah. It's the amygdala is like, I would say the amygdala, actually you see a lot of damage in the amygdala in serial killers. It's really big on like fear, rage, like really like primal instinct comes from the amygdala.
Is it the hippocampus that's general emotional regulation?
So hippocampus is your that's your whatchamacallit, that's your memory center.
That was ironic.
Yeah, but I know, right? Yeah. So emotional regulation, what you're gonna see a lot of that go through, it's a higher level like processing thing. So that's all frontal lobe.
Got it.
So a lot of times when you see frontal lobe trauma, or you're dealing with people like me who have ADHD, we have difficulties like managing and regulating our emotions because our frontal lobes are like kind of not great. So that's why we take the medications that we do. A little too smooth, yeah. It needs to be a little curvier, and it really did not get the message. It's a bummer.
We're used to smooth brains here.
I just smoothed the brains. Hi. Oh, thank you for the gift.
Very smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Cakes for 199 asked, also, I'd really like a vampire lore episode.
Yeah, we can do that.
We have so many lore episodes we just haven't done because we.
Part of the thing is that YouTube kind of wasn't showing our videos if they weren't about missing people, so we didn't have a chance to.
You guys got like shadow banned?
I think YouTube just put us in a niche.
Yeah,
it did not want to take us out of that niche.
Our missing 411 videos did the best, and so YouTube was like, "Oh, these are missing person, or this is a missing persons channel." And so anytime we tried to do something that wasn't a missing persons case, the algorithm didn't really recognize it as one of our videos, so it wouldn't push it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now the algorithm's like, you've done too many missing persons cases.
Yep.
You need to do different things.
And we're like, thank you.
Thank you. I would like to do anything else right now.
All Dragons Are Sluts for $2 said, don't be sussy. Let's get that Windussy.
Nice.
These are our followers. Well,
That's great. No,
Welcome.
I'm very familiar with the Wendussy. Yes. Wendussy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been, one of the reasons why Aiden and I like reconnected was because I saw him talking about a Wendigo video, and like you looked, oh my god, you looked so terrible. I literally slid in his DMs. I was like, dude, you need to take a break. Like, you need to stop. Like, I was like, the psychologist in me was like, I feel danger. Like, talk about a gut instinct. Like, I saw his face, and I was like, oh my god, man, he needs to like take a break.
I'm glad there are more people recognizing and encouraging that behavior in him.
This was a few years ago, so I don't know, but yeah.
We might need to give him another reminder.
Yeah,
the boy needs an off day.
Okay, but
I took yesterday off, kind of.
There shouldn't be a kind of.
It should be a full.
I did like 2 hours of work.
Bad.
Oh.
DJ talks randomly for $25. Thank you.
Whoa.
I opened the video and see Archie. This is a good day.
It's a good day.
It is a good day.
He's a good boy.
Bam for $5 says, have you heard of the Nephilim to clown connection?
That sounds like a weird butterfly thing.
Now I gotta. I'm not even sure if he's messing with me, but now I gotta look it up. Also, speaking of Bam,
Yeah.
Bam Margera's just out and about.
Did he die? Wait, I thought he was supposed to die.
What?
I know he was like in the hospital. He like almost died.
No, apparently he's out and about in the woods of southeastern Pennsylvania.
Like, should we be like noticing him? Like, is this like a?
I thought he turned himself in.
Is it
Did
a
he?
Bigfoot thing?
Yeah, that's what I
okay.
heard.
Wait, he was on the run?
Well,
Briefly.
well,
Gee.
it was.
Wait, what happened?
So apparently he like defiled someone's property,
Oh, classic family.
and so there was a warrant out for his arrest, and nobody could find him. And then supposedly he was just out in the woods and then turned himself in because he didn't know that people were looking for him.
Okay.
So that's all I know about that story.
Interesting. Love
Yeah.
that. Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, classic Bam Margera. He did a lot of drugs, so that checks out.
Christmas loving engineer for $20 says, the earlier comments made me think, I want a carnival game called Whack-A-Cryptid where you use a blue snow shovel to hit various cryptids popping up from the machine. Oh my lord, we've got gold amongst these hills.
That was in there?
No. That was me saying that's a great idea.
Yeah.
We can probably do that. At the very least, we can make a fake version.
What do you mean
Like
fake?
a digital.
Oh, true. It's an app.
Yeah.
Whack-A-Cryptid. Coming to the iPhone store near you, or on your phone.
It will have no ads and also no new content ever.
Yep. It's a one and done.
Love that.
Dr. Sheev, for Australian $2, I believe, says Ohio.
What about it? Just Ohio?
Yep.
Yep.
Nice. It is a pretty weird place.
It is.
It's an unfortunate place.
Oh.
Did not need to exist.
No.
Angel Delgado for $3.69 says, here's some money, nerds. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's his first super chat from Angel Delgado, so thank you.
I cannot believe there's not a single one about Freemasonry or the Illuminati.
I know, right? Well, to be fair, we also, didn't spend a ton of time talking about Freemasonry. And
We talked about the Illuminati for half an hour.
Wasn't that long?
Yeah.
There
I
were some
talk a lot. I
interjections.
talk a lot. I'm not good at telling stories. It feels like I talk longer than I
Oh,
do.
you're good. Don't
That might
worry
be
about
it. So,
Agamemnon's gym bag for $2.47. Holler to the Archimedians in the chat.
oh,
Archimedians or Archimedeans?
that's the joke, I think.
Yeah, I thought that was. I
okay.
thought it was a pun.
I think okay.
Is that what the
I didn't
fan base is?
see it. So
They call themselves the Archie.
no, that's new. Apparently Archie has his own fans now.
Archie, lit, buddy. Love that for you, dude.
Your boy Bussy for $1.99
Colt
said,
leader here.
speaking of Waco,
Look at me.
Waco vid soon?
Yes, Waco vid soon.
Waco vid soon. No, Archie
Yeah.
is shocked.
Look
by
at
the
him.
news.
Are you sure you
Wait,
want to
what?
touch that? Like,
He's
bro.
like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Video on all of Bill Barr's personal failures in his entire life soon.
Oh my god.
Plaz said the killer clowns from outer space, I believe, in relation to the, what was that? The Nephilim to clown connection.
I googled it. Nothing came up right off the bat. Besides something from like Welcome to Night Vale. There is something. Did the Nephilim look like clowns? It's a song. I don't know if I want to touch it because I feel like my computer will
I'm
get a
gonna have
virus.
to look into that.
Yeah.
Case said my girlfriend is strictly an Archie fan. She's a keeper.
Who said
Yeah.
that?
Yes. Kellen, the official data for 369, said Ohio greater than France. That's a debate that I would love to see you officiate.
Wow.
No, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. 'cause
That'd be a
it's
great
American.
debate. Yeah.
It'd be a good debate though.
It would be a really interesting debate. I don't know, is France that relevant? I don't know a lot about geopolitical stuff.
No, I just think
Is it
They're
irrelevant?
revolting again.
it's just France.
They are revolting again. That I did know.
Okay, the French have been revolting the entire time.
Oh my god. It's horrible. I hope there's not any like French children in here that are just like, like so sad about this.
No,
they would
just-
they would not be like they'd be like
I found a video. The Nephilim looked like clowns. It's a YouTube video. We can watch it
I'm
later.
gonna
I'm
have to
not.
look at that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
a
if there were
lot.
any French children in here, they'd just be like, so what is right? I don't care.
some 8-year-old French child with a glass of wine in one hand, a cigarette in the other.
A whole pack in the other hand. Are you kidding me? Yeah, no.
Molten.
Mademoiselle was a man, and Mademoiselle was a cigarette.
I was gonna say, was also a man. Like,
Family arguments were very confusing.
yeah, they're quiet, it's very confusing. Yeah.
They left the bottle open, and that is why it is still here. Molten Amber for 85 for 199 said, so in conclusion, Illuminati confirmed?
Yeah, they were real.
Cool.
Were.
Yeah. Hi. But they might still
Might still be.
I was gonna say the Bavarian government banned all these secret societies, maybe they actually decided to become secret and actually stop.
Yeah, somebody just needs to remind them that they're not allowed.
They're not allowed to be secret. Come on, guys.
Swiper, no swiping.
Get it together. I'm looking right at
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stare them down. Let the message really sink in.
Is that what you wanted, Archie? All right.
Poor Archie.
I do. Yeah.
Your boy Bussy for $4.99 said, "How to become a Freemason? Question mark. Requirements, benefits. Genuinely interested in it."
Yeah. So very simple. To be one, ask one is the rule. That does not mean ask me. That more means ask one near you. So if you look up your local lodge and you call and you say, "Hey, I'd like to come to a dinner. I'd like to, I'm interested in joining," then that's
like a
how
date.
that's how you get involved. Requirements: you have to be. Depends on where. Sometimes it's 18. It's usually 21. You have to be 21 years old. Male, joining of your own free will, and you need to believe in a higher power. So some sort of religion. You cannot be an atheist or agnostic.
And you also have did you say you have to be a man? You did.
Yes, you do have to be a man.
Yeah.
Depending on the jurisdiction, sometimes they will accept transgender men. Most often in the United States, they will not. In England, they will accept trans men and trans women if they joined before transitioning.
Oh, wow. Huh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so if you're a man, if you join Freemasonry and then you transition to being a woman, they won't kick you out necessarily in England.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest. I just know that's how England looks at it.
Fair. DJ Talks Randomly for $10 said, "Conspiracy theory. The Illuminati are a bunch of Italian mothers who punish those who incorrectly cook pasta."
That would be more frightening.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I've my best friend is from Tuscany,
Oh boy.
and I will never cook for her mother. I'll never do it. I love her mom so much, but I would never cook for her.
Yeah, it's just not gonna happen.
Terrifying. I refuse to do it. No.
Christmas loving engineer for $5 said, "It's not a request for y'all to make it. Just think the whack a cryptid game should exist at some carnival
I'm
somewhere."
sure we can have somebody in the Discord make that. Somebody will know how to do it.
Absolutely. Isaiah Scrape for $20 says, "Hey, just stopped by. I was wondering when the next Weird Bible was coming out. Love what y'all do." Well, what a surprise for you.
It's Thursday.
Yes.
It is Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It is. I promise.
And so it shall be. Also, thank you for your first super chat. Paladins Templar for $1.99 said, "Is it true the Masons have a Knights Templar sect?"
Yep.
Can you elaborate on that?
Nope.
That's what I thought.
You have to. The only thing I can say, because I'm not one yet, the only thing I can say is that yes, the Masons do. Tradition. We hold as tradition that we derive from the Knights Templar, and that we have the only legitimate claim to Templar succession. And that in order to join the commandery, you do have to be a Christian. You cannot. It's all of Masonry is open to people of any, like basic Blue Lodge Freemasonry is open to people of any religion. Templar is strictly Christian.
Nice.
Kind of makes sense given the history. TL Lancaster for $2 says, "Have you heard about D&D send Pinkertons on people?" I did hear about that.
I did not know that.
So the Pinkertons are real.
I knew the Pinkertons were a real thing.
Yeah. Did you know that
I didn't know they were still around.
They're still around. They're still banned from working for or with or in the government in any capacity. There's a Pinkertons Act that was
That's phenomenal.
that was passed in the 1860s or 70s, I believe, that because they were such horrible people, they are not allowed to work in any form with the government.
Is it like a detective agency? I'm Googling. I had to Google it. I don't know who that is. Yeah.
They're basically like mercenaries.
They're basically hired by companies to break strikes.
Yes.
Wow.
And
wow.
The late 1800s and early 1900s were so lawless. It's hilarious.
It's everyone's the Wild West.
I believe it's Hasbro that owns D&D now.
Oh.
They accidentally, somehow a YouTuber accidentally got a new release of, I think it was either it was some playing cards or whatever, some game. I can't remember the game. They got a new set of it that was supposed to come out 2 weeks later in the mail. and it was relevant to what they were doing, and so they started talking about it or whatever. And Hasbro, I believe it was Hasbro, it was some toy company, sent the Pinkertons to that YouTuber's house to try and like violently get them to not like say anything about that, like essentially to shut them up.
I mean, you could just
My
send a
God.
cease and desist.
Yeah, really.
Or just use it as a marketing opportunity.
Yeah, like
Oh my God. Great.
Insane. Jin the Nerd for $5 says, I don't usually have time to catch streams, but this time I can. Keep up the good work, Lore Father.
Thank you. This is why I mentioned the cult thing earlier.
Yeah.
They
I was
call
gonna
me
say,
War Father.
Also, thank you for your first super chat.
that'll do it. That'll do
like-
it.
Agamemnon's Gym Bag for $5.13. Love me. Thank you. Oh, by the way, the reason I'm saying that is because I love when people send very specific donations.
That's great.
Remember what
yeah.
we were talking about before the stream
Yeah.
in regards to his interests?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. I needed to. We talked about
It's
a lot.
okay.
Yeah. I was
Fair
like,
point.
my brain is dead.
If it tells you anything, I really liked trains as a kid, and I still like trains.
I love that for you.
Yes.
Great.
Walk update. Was that work? Like
Walk. No, he bought a walk. Remember?
Okay. I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure that it wasn't a misspelling. Walk update. Happy to report that I figured this thing out. Fried rice going to be worthy of kings.
Yum.
I'm excited.
He loves fried rice.
Put
I'm
it in
a
a bag.
huge fan
Ship
of
it to them.
fried
Do you guys
rice.
have a PO box?
Working on it.
I was gonna say, just ship it in a bag. Just send it to them.
We're bad at a lot.
Thanks. I will do it this week. I will hold myself accountable. I'll go do it. Ori Clough for $19.99 gave the first super chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
Plaz for $2 says, y'all seen Twin Peaks? When Dussy hits.
Nice.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Twin Peaks.
I've seen the
so-
first season. It's a great. It's an interesting show.
Best you started with great, and then you were like,
Yeah, it's considered a really great show. The best thing about it is absolutely the soundtrack, and it was very revolutionary for the 90s. But it's an interesting watch now. Anyway,
is it like Supernatural?
no. Imagine if the X-Files and Supernatural got put together, but take away any of the action. Actually, no. It's more like the X-Files and like General Hospital
Oh.
were put together.
Yikes.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, don't like that.
Isaac Otto, I hope I pronounced that right, for $9.99 said, Magic the Gathering. It was Wizards of the Coast, owned by Hasbro, so I was right with the Hasbro thing at least, that sent them to confiscate cards that were accidentally released early to the person, old school MTG, that they legally bought. Yeah, it's insane. it's
All
insane.
right.
Sheldon Schreiber for $4.99 gave the first super chat.
Thank you.
Very much. Isaac Otto for $4.99 says the set was March of the Machines Aftermath. March of the Machines was released a month or two ago. Got it. Okay. Thank you for the
I was
details.
gonna say, when
on
you said
that.
card games, I was like, it sounds more like Magic.
I was gonna say magic or something else. I don't know.
Yeah, there were a couple other games in my head, and I'm glad I didn't say them because they were not that.
Yeah.
Aiden's like, God, I almost said Skyrim.
No, I would have said Yu-Gi-Oh or like Pokemon. That would have been bad. So.
Do they still make Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
I don't know. Do they?
That was a really confident, really fast
I'm
answer.
pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
such a large set of Yu-Gi-Oh cards somewhere in my
Really?
parents' house.
Are they worth anything, you think?
There's like 7 Blue Eyes White Dragons in there.
I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Again,
for those
we are
who
the
do know what it
unknown
means,
yeah.
there's like 7 Blue Eyes White Dragons in there.
For those in the chat who know what he's talking about, can you give context?
Please, thank you.
Powerful, fairly rare card from a very long time ago. Like, the fact that they wouldn't be valuable just because they're Blue Eyes White Dragons, they'd be valuable because they're Blue Eyes White Dragons from like 2006.
Got it.
Mhm.
Nav842 for $2 said, what are your thoughts on bullpup rifles?
Bullpup.
Bullpup
Yeah.
rifles.
I don't particularly love them. I mean,
Don't know.
Okay, so what's the difference between those and like a regular rifle?
where the magazine goes in.
Oh, okay.
So basically the idea with a bullpup is that you can have a longer barrel with a shorter overall weapon by
Okay.
having the magazine load at the very rear
Okay.
at the shoulder. So instead of having the magazine right here and then the barrel needs to be 16 inches this way, the magazine can be back here and the barrel is 16 inches that way.
I mean, it sounds efficient in terms of, compactness, but it sounds like reloading would be really annoying.
I don't love them.
Yeah. Sheldon Schreiber for 499 said, first time super chat, long time listener though. Having a rough day. Is my girl justified in mad at me or wait, hang on. Is my girl justified in being mad at me for jamming in the car during a Freebird solo? No, not even close.
Under no circumstances.
That's you pull over.
Yeah.
And you jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Laws do not apply when the Freebird solo is playing.
Yeah, if you get pulled over for that, you can tell the cop.
Yeah.
And they'll let you go.
No, you
Like,
just
"Oh, carry on, sir. My bad." Yeah.
either that or just leave the song on, and when they walk up to the car, they'll stop, turn around, and drive away. We are not suggesting.
No.
Yeah, we're not lawyers.
Allegedly. Not legal advice.
Yeah, no.
Don't break the law.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly. Bam, no Margera, but it is Bam for $20 said, to clarify, clowns as an ancestral memory of the Nephilim involves head binding being a worldwide thing, the Mexican clown petroglyph cave paintings,
Okay, I actually know that.
repeated references to red-headed giants and DMT jesters.
That's really interesting.
That is-
DMT gestures.
You're drawing some.
I will admit
there's red yarn involved.
there's
Yeah.
a lot more connective tissue there than I expected.
Honestly, like that's a lot.
Like when they said like Nephilim clown collection, I was like, no, ain't no way.
Yeah,
But
there's
now,
a lot more there than the Adam and Eve story.
I
that's for
like
sure.
that I like that whoever made that their little passion project. I'm really proud of you. I really am.
oh boy,
A for effort.
I know, honestly.
Gabby for $4.99 said, wow, that girl is so smart and pretty. Honored to catch her on stream. You should have her back.
Okay,
I'm
thanks.
guessing this is a friend of yours.
No, I don't know. Thanks, Gab. It's my sister. Yeah. It's my little sister. Yeah. It might be. I don't know. I don't know if she's watching or not, but maybe it'd be nice.
If she commented, she must be.
I mean, I will. There also
Could just
more
be a
than one-
random
I was
person
gonna say,
named
there's
Gabby.
more than
Fair,
one Gabby
true.
out there. It would be a really weird coincidence, though. So I'm betting it.
G-A-B-I?
That's my sister. Yeah, that's how she spells it.
There you go.
Thanks, Gab. Love you. See you at home. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Agamemnon's Gym Bag for $2 says, bullpen is the most inferior pup. Autocorrect.
Bullpup.
What?
I
Bullpup
think
is the
bullpup
most
is the most
inferior
inferior pup.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I see what- Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Archie is by far the superior pup.
I don't
Yes.
superior. It's superior.
His nose was very vaguely visible for a second. There he is.
Okay, adorable. That's the last of the super chats for now, so
All
I think
right.
we might
What
be
time is
getting close to wrapping it up. It is
All right.
8:36, so and
Wow.
we have a video.
We have to
recording,
finish
so-
shooting the video on this.
Yeah.
So we will end it here. But thank you guys so much for sticking around, for watching, for chatting, for super chatting. Rachel, is there anything you would like to tell people about yourself, or are you just kind of chilling?
I'm just kind of vibing. Thanks for having me
okay.
on. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This
Would
was
you,
great.
given the question from Gabby, would you want to come back at some point?
Duh, absolutely.
Awesome.
Call me when you guys do Waco. Like, I'll be here.
Yeah,
I'll be
Waco,
here.
Bohemian Grove are coming up.
I was gonna say I'll wear my little tinfoil hat. I'll
We should wear tinfoil hats. For
no, like we should do it. Like, should be like an every episode thing, and it should be like your guys' thing. And
Wait,
it should
no,
be
yeah.
like, you should make people wear them.
When somebody has like a suggestion, it's the tinfoil
Oh,
hat
yes.
time.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
I like that idea.
You could absolutely make that into like a bit.
I think that'd be fun.
I'd really
Just
support
get some
that.
like baseball caps and wrap them in tinfoil.
I was thinking like
Yarmulkes.
every season
Well,
it's
I
a
can do that
different
now,
style
you can.
hat. So like one's a cowboy hat season, one's like a baseball cap,
Oh,
one's a
I love
yarmulke
that.
season.
Yeah.
Oh, inclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that for us.
It's my people now.
That is your people now. Congratulations. Welcome to the gang, my guy.
Oh, Richard
Something else.
Henderson, real quick, as the last one said, Archie a woo question.
Okay, yeah, I think we can get one last. All right,
Oh,
come
he's
here,
ready
buddy.
for it,
Oh,
too.
he's ready for the album. Okay, all right, come on. There we go.
Sorry, it's so funny. You're-
Isn't he so good?
He's such a
You
good
should-
boy.
He's
Okay,
so
this room
good.
is practically soundproof.
I mean, yeah, but you know, like someone's gonna leave a note under your
Oh,
door.
probably.
Yeah, eventually.
Silence the dog.
But yeah, there we go. That's the Woo for you guys.
Hey, he's a good boy.
Would you do Anthill Kids or is it too dark? I don't know what it is, so I'll have to look into it.
I'll write it down on content
But-
right
I
now.
was gonna say, I
Alright.
can tell you guys about that after the stream's
Sure.
over.
All right. But yeah, we gotta get back to filming. I need to eat a little bit of my leftover sushi.
Yep.
And that's it. But thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank
We'll see you
you.
next week.
Bye.